Whoa. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the dump. My name is Truck, and today's guest is Uncle Dane. What's up, dude?
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Well, Uncle Dane, for those that don't know, is a YouTuber. Would you call yourself a YouTuber? That's
Sure.
kind of, is that a title that you want?
I mean,
How do you feel about that?
I have mixed feelings about it because it's the truth, I guess. But
But you're
it's
also clumped in with all these other people, right?
yeah, exactly. A lot of people. There's a lot of YouTubers now. It used to be
There-
like, whoa, that's kind of interesting, but now it's like, yeah,
yeah,
not,
everybody's a YouTuber.
yeah,
Well, you're a successful YouTube. I would say content creator, like legitimate content creator. It's not like you're unboxing toys and playing with them, and they have millions of views.
you don't think
You're
that's
you're
content?
creating. I mean, that's like the most popular content on YouTube right now.
It is,
It's
yeah.
just like the little kids unboxing toys.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, but as far as real content goes, what kind of content do you make?
Content creator sounds better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I literally just stick to one thing mostly, and that's just playing TF2 and
Mm-hmm.
making videos about TF2 specifically the engineer from TF2.
So like hyper focused content.
Very, very niche channel. So I'm I honestly have always been surprised that it's even a little bit successful, but it's pretty fun. So it works
So
out.
yeah, so you have four over 400,000 subscribers. I think you're almost at 450,000 subscribers, which is
Hmm.
pretty damn great. Like as far as the TS2 sphere goes, I think that's like near the top, if not the top of the TS2 YouTube
Yeah, as far
content
as
creators.
active ones go, it seems.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And like the thing is with TF2 is that it's not necessarily popular on Twitch, but on YouTube
No.
it's been great like for a really long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good observation. And it's true. Yeah, definitely a lot more popular on YouTube than Twitch. And I have a theory. If you'd like to listen to it.
Oh, of course.
I think it's because pubbing is such a huge thing in TF2 that streaming it on Twitch is not nearly as interesting as any other game could be. So it suffers in that way, and it's simply because it's really focused on pubs, and there's no storyline in pubs. Like whenever you're streaming a game, I feel like you have to create this story, and people tune in to see the beginning, middle, and end of that story, and there's like a commitment involved, and you have to have this uh yeah, like I said, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's none of that in a pub. Like you just join and you're playing, and you have there's no
It's just
there's no story to
chaos.
it. It's just chaos. Yeah, like no one cares if you win or lose. No one really cares like the outcome of the game. It's not intense at all. Like
hmm
it's really casual, which is what casual's for, but that's not really something that's fun to watch on Twitch. Like you go into Twitch and you watch people like Dr. Disrespect or people like Shroud who turn every match that they play into a story, which is, in my opinion, why battle royale games are so popular
hmm
because they give that beginning, middle, and end that people want to tune in for.
Yeah, and they do it without like any sort of effort. It's just the core aspect of the game mode.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really easy to set that up. And I think that one of the main reasons why Banny is so popular is because he mostly plays competitive, which has that aspect
hmm
of a beginning, middle, and end to it. So, in my opinion, I think that if competitive TF2 took off, then maybe TF2 on Twitch might get a little bit of a boost. But I don't know. That's all speculation.
Yeah, I think competitive games in general have an audience
Yeah,
for a live aspect. So as far as creating YouTube content, you can more manufacture a story
yeah,
because I think one of the things that TF2 kind of at least brought to me, I don't know if it was like the pioneer of this, but it was just gameplay commentary.
hmm
It's not the same as you made any gameplay commentaries, but there's a lot of
a few.
TF2 content out there that is gameplay commentary.
Yeah, and that was more. I mean, I don't know if that's really a thing anymore. I mean, like people still do them, but it definitely
Mhm.
wasn't. It's not as popular as it used to be.
Mhm.
Like the Star Germa era of the TF2 YouTube sphere, uh, that was definitely more of the time when people would post that kind of thing. But now I feel like it's more like you said, manufactured, where it's like clip compilations almost, or tutorials or opinion pieces or video essays, that kind of thing. And I think that that has a lot to do with just the way YouTube's going, not necessarily TF2 or the TF2 community. I think that that's just the way that YouTube's kind of shifted because video essays are super popular now. There's a ton of video essay content creators out there.
And you've
So
made several yourself as far as
yeah,
just so how has your content developed over time? Like baby Uncle Dane to Uncle Dane in 2019. Because
um,
I guess to pull that back, how long have you been making YouTube videos?
making YouTube videos
Yeah.
since the beginning of the site.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I have my. You can see how old my channel is. It's from, I think I made it in 2006, but I've been watching it since before then. Um, pardon me. Um, I think I've been making just random YouTube videos over the course of like the history of YouTube, but as far as like this channel goes and like TF2 YouTube videos, I've been making those since 2014,
Mm-hmm.
2013, I think.
So, so yeah, I kind of interrupted my other question. I apologize for that. So, how did your channel develop from like the start of making TF2 videos to where you are right now making engineer videos?
You know, it's hard to say. I don't usually go back and watch my old videos for obvious reasons because I
Mm.
don't think anybody really likes doing that. But um, I think the main thing that's changed is just that maybe I just know what I'm talking about more. Maybe I feel like I'm better at the talking thing because I never really was a fan of uh, like commentary in general, at least for myself. I don't really consider myself a an entertaining guy. So it was kind of difficult getting into that habit. So I think that that's probably the main thing. So you go back and watch those old videos. I'm probably a little less like confident with myself. Maybe I have like a higher pitched voice as you get whenever you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Hi, hello. So
Hi,
maybe Uncle Dane sounds probably a lot younger than I do now, but who
nephew
knows?
Dane.
Yeah, despite I was like, I don't know, like 24. So,
So, like, I mean, I've been watching your YouTube content for, I want to say 3 years now.
mhm.
And one of the things I've noticed with a lot of TF2 YouTubers, including yourself, is that your production value went from like pretty good to like really, really good, like top
Oh, thanks.
notch, high quality, um, from like just audio, visual, and obviously writing. How long does it take to develop those skills? Because that's just not something you just like Google, right? I've tried to make video essays and tutorials myself, and it is extremely hard.
Yeah, it's not easy. And it takes a lot of like really fine tuning. I think that that's probably what I've gotten better at over the years is really not giving myself a lot of room to like make it look like half-assed or anything. Like I I've developed like little tiny techniques for myself. Like a good one, for example, that I always tell people who are like asking advice on like how to make their editing better is something that I like to do is like if a shot or like if something on the screen isn't moving for more than like a second, then that's bad. You got to make something move on the screen. Whether like you put up text or something, put like a keyframe on it, make it go forward just slightly, just enough to where it's not like a still frame because it keeps the video moving forward and it keeps people engaged even if they're not even realizing it. And just little stuff like that, like, and that's only stuff that I've learned over time because I go in the comments section of a video. I can actually remember the exact one. I think it was the one where it's the how to deal with spies video. There's a section in that video where the frame I'm like doing a freeze frame or something, trying to highlight something, and the frame freezes and there's nothing going on. The shot's not moving. I don't animate anything. And I remember reading a comment. Somebody said, at this timestamp, I thought my video froze for a second and I was confused. And I was like, oh, that's bad. I should probably make things move more.
Mm-hmm.
So now I try to make an effort to make things always move so that people don't get confused, so that it doesn't take them out of the moment or anything like that. Just little things like that. You just learn over time. So that's one of the main reasons why feedback is really important to me. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I guess to sum up my answer to your question is just a lot of trial and error and experience. And you said you can't really Google it, but you can. You can Google a lot
Well,
of
you
it.
have to like actually practice it, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
you can't the notepad tutorials only can take you so far. You have to actually work. You have to work with the notepad tutorials. You can't just
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
them.
You can learn the technical skills for sure on YouTube, and that's awesome. I switched to Premiere last year, and it was super easy just because of YouTube. I
Hmm.
just watched a bunch of tutorials, found a few good channels who had like, I don't know, like 50 episode series on everything to do, and I just watched it. Like I watch a couple episodes a day, learn everything about it. And now I feel like pretty comfortable in the program, despite it being completely new to me. Um, so yeah, I feel like it also has to do with, I don't know how to say this without coming off as like coming off as pompous or whatever, but I feel like you have to have an eye for it. You know what I mean? Like you have
Hmm.
to have the creative skill for it, which is something that a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there are a few people on YouTube who you can tell that they just Google and they find out what to do, and they follow it to the T, and they don't make it really that interesting, but they know how to
Hmm.
do it. They have the skill for it, but they don't have the, I guess, artistic eye for it.
It seems like a lot of people, especially nowadays, it's mostly just getting it out there rather than like creating something that you are legitimately proud of. You could like show someone and be like, this is mine, I created this, rather than like, I want content for my channel,
Yeah,
yay.
yeah, that's very good. That's a good observation. I think that that's true for a lot of people. It's more of a book report
Hmm.
than a video to them.
This is my, look at what I did. It's like all of those. I mean, this doesn't exist that much anymore, but a few years ago, every single gamer YouTube channel would have like a 5 second crazy YouTube tutorial.
Yeah,
Their name just like spinning around in
it's still
3D. It's
I
like
still see that a
just
lot,
like
but yeah,
torrented Cinema 4D and made their name.
those are
Uh,
funny.
that's some good stuff. And speaking of like on that, something that I really admire about your content is that you don't seem to have deadlines for yourself. You just, whenever it's done, it's done. So
Yeah,
like every time you upload a video, at least as someone that, watches your content, it's like it's going to be a good video because you just take your time.
yeah. I guess you could say that. I feel like I take my time mostly just because I get burned out very easily when it comes to making big projects like that. And the catch 22 of it is that I like making big projects like that, but they take so much out of me that when I'm done, I'm like, all right, I don't want to see Premiere for the next like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is I get into this habit where I'll work on a big video because I'm like, I love this idea. I'm really passionate about it. I get into the mood to make a big video. I work on it for like a week straight or like 2 weeks straight. And then I put it out and I'm like, there we go. It's like a really satisfying feeling whenever you finish something like that you've been wanting to get out for so long. And then for the next 2 weeks, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go play Minecraft or something, like
Mm-hmm.
not even think about videos. And then it gets to the point where you're trying to think of the next video and maybe you're not sure what the next video is going to be. You're like second guessing yourself. You get into your head a lot. This is all me, by the way. I'm saying you, but
Mm-hmm. I feel you though.
it's me. But it's yeah, you get into your head about it, you overthink it, you get to the point where so much time has passed now that you've uploaded a video. I'm in that space right now, actually. I think it's been 2 months since I've uploaded a video now, where you're like, okay, this next video has to be good. So it's you get a lot of pressure, and then you're like, okay, what am I gonna do next? And then you get that in your head, and then you work yourself up to the point where you are passionate about it again, and then you can finally work on it. So it's like it's a mix of that and that I want the video to be good. So it's a mix of like procrastination and passion, I guess. It's a weird relationship.
Well, you know what? Something I've noticed that, especially somewhat recently, is that your Twitter game is really good.
Thanks.
Uh, for some reason, my Twitter game sucks, but pretty much all of my guests, you guys have really good Twitter game. Just like throwing up like really funny, memey, entertaining, quick YouTube, quick photoshops or videos on
Yeah, yeah.
Twitter. Like, how does it come about to like get that drive to just throw stuff on the internet, just almost, I don't want to say shamelessly, just not just doing it, not
Yeah.
necessarily well, doing the opposite of what you're just talking about. I'm assuming you don't put too much thought into like a meme
No,
video.
no, not at all. It's like I think it's just satisfying my urge to share things. Like I've always
Hmm.
had like I like that aspect of social media where you can just share random things in your brain and get people's reactions. And Twitter is great for that for me, where I can just think of some stupid image or think of a funny random video, or even just find clips when I'm playing that are that aren't really something I'm like I can't really put this in a video, but I still want people to see it. So
Hmm.
I don't know what to do with this. I'll just put it on Twitter. Like that's always a good answer for me. So I think that people have gotten used to that by now, and there's like kind of an expectation where it's like this is where Dane dumps like the garbage, but it's the garbage that he wants people to see.
It has some flavor to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? So somewhere in between there, you've made some skits, and I imagine it's
Hmm.
somewhere between the dump, like you said, and the high quality content.
Yeah. Are you talking about the skits that I made for like that other channel, like that I
Yeah,
made
is
with my
that
friend?
something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're? Well, you could explain what that is, and we can go further into that.
Oh, it's the well, I've always liked making sketch comedy. Like that's the main thing that I actually did before I made YouTube videos about TF2 is making like little skits. Like when I was growing up on YouTube, it was well, I say when I was growing up, but like when I was when YouTube was in its infancy, I should say, the most popular kinds of videos that people would make was either vlogs or sketch comedy. And I really gravitated towards the sketch comedy thing, and I did a lot of that very early on, and that was something that me and my friends did a lot. So I have this kind of like nostalgic idea about it, and I still like sketch comedy for the most part, um but I guess the reason why we wanted to make it is because we just felt the need not the need, but like the want to revisit that era of our lives
Mm-hmm.
in some way. Like Austin, the guy that I made those videos with, like he's been my best friend since like the sophomore year of high school. So uh and we've been making sketches together since before YouTube even existed. So it was kind of like a I don't know, it was like a reunion almost, and it was fun in that way. Like, and the way we approached it was we just improvise every single sketch. We didn't write a single line of dialogue. We just
Really?
had the idea written down, and we're like, okay, so this is the concept. Let's just film, and we'll just come up with ideas, and then I'll just hope that I can edit it together and make it make sense. And so that was like a fun little challenge, and that's how that like fake episode of a TV show came about.
Yeah,
So
it was pretty fun. I quite liked it. What is the name of it again, for people that
oh,
want to check?
it's in real life is what we called it. The
Okay.
name of the channel is whatever we want.
Okay. Yeah, you guys should check that out. It's pretty funny. I think a lot of your fans might not know that it exists. I think you tweeted about it or something. That's how I
I
found it.
I tweeted about it, and I think I gave it like a shout out at the end of one of my recent videos too.
Mm,
too. So a few
yeah.
people might have seen it. Yeah.
The Uncle Dane, the side of Uncle Dane that no one has ever seen before. Dude,
Yeah.
the first time I realized that you had like a pretty goofy side is when you just tweeted a picture of yourself just in your underwear in the woods. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Just I don't think there was any caption. You're just like looking over your
Yeah.
shoulder or something.
I was just standing there very menacingly, and yeah, I love that picture.
It's a great picture.
It's so mysterious because I
Mhm.
mean, we were out there for a reason, obviously, but people don't know that. So I was like, this would be funny, completely out of context.
It's great. Like it takes like I don't know. It takes balls to do stuff like that. Like, do you get to a point where you do that, or do you just do it?
I have to wonder if it's like the age that I'm getting to, because I guarantee you I would have never done that like 5 years ago, maybe. But I think after a while you just don't care anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, sure, I don't know, like what are people gonna say? Like, like, oh, this sucks. Like, oh, sorry, I don't know.
It doesn't suck.
I don't. I just don't. I don't know. I think about like what's gonna happen if I do this, and if the answer isn't I'll die, then why not? You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think
I don't have that outlook about everything, obviously, but when it comes to dumb pictures, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, yeah, that shit's so funny. I really admire you, and I was talking about Sideshow and Bren. They do the same thing. I don't know. I had them in the previous weeks. They just dressed up like Sideshow after the podcast. He's like, Kurt, perfect time. You end the podcast. Bren's coming over. We're gonna dress up as schoolgirls and dance to a song. I'm like, what?
They've
And
done
he
that
just
multiple
left and
times.
loaded
How
up
can
the
they
stream.
keep doing it? I thought it was like a one-time like dare or something, but they're just like,
Yeah.
no, we like doing that.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. You guys have balls, and I think is it freeing in a way where you can actually get to the point where you post that type of stuff. Like I'm very, I wouldn't say sheltered. Like I'm fine with talking and speaking on the internet, but I'm not gonna like run around in my underwear on the internet.
Yeah, I guess so. Like I said, I think it just you get to a point where it doesn't scare you as much anymore. I guess I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm not really worried about being judged, and maybe that has a lot to do with how long I've been making content and reading comments and stuff. Like I feel like I've read the worst comments already. Like what else could I read? You know?
Yeah, people are brutal, especially on YouTube. Like Twitch is trolly sometimes, it's just like a whatever. But on YouTube, people like write essays that are just like, you spent like an hour on this, just like picking me apart. Yeah. What is your problem?
It's nuts. I think that I think it's weird to imagine that you can go into public and you can look around at just random people walking around, and there's a good chance one of those people went home after that encounter and wrote an essay to some poor person on the internet about why they fucking suck, like why they're just like why they're awful.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, that was just some random guy that I saw in the grocery store, some 40-year-old man. Interesting. People lead double lives, man. They leave these double lives of trolling, of harassing people on the internet, and you'd never know.
It's true. It's funny, but also really sad.
Yeah,
but
it's nuts.
It's crazy. So like, I guess I guess we go to back to your TF2 content. Like, do you have any sort of inspirations, or did it come down to me like TF2, me like engineer?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it came down to
really?
At the beginning, because I mean, I made those videos because I noticed that there wasn't a whole lot of people making videos about engineer, and I was getting into the game more seriously around that time. Like I was playing more Highlander and getting more into the competitive aspect of TF2 and taking the game a little bit more seriously than your average person. So, and by that account, I was also just looking up a bunch of content about the game. So I was looking up people who are good at the game, watching how they play and stuff. And I really liked engineer, but there wasn't a whole lot of, there was basically nobody that played engineer and made content about it. So I was like, well, I guess I'll make some videos. I don't really know that much about engineer, but I know enough. So I feel like that's a good enough starting point. So, and it kind of got me more, it made my interest in the game stronger almost, because I had like almost a reason to play besides just that it was fun. I had a reason that I could make a video out of it. And I like making videos. I like playing the game. So double interests come together and make a beautiful marriage of some sort. As for my inspirations, I'd say people that don't even play TF2, like Video Game Donkey, or recently I've been watching a lot of Nakey Jakey. I like his video essays on video games. So, but TF2 player people, like, I don't know. Around the time that I started making those types of videos, there wasn't a whole lot of video essay TF2 YouTubers, so I couldn't even say that I was directly inspired by anybody who was in the TF2 community at the time. Although now I'm inspired by Lazy Purple, who makes very similar content to me, but like 10 times better. So
I think you all are kind of in like a similar lane, but you have your own avenues.
he uses a lot of SFM, which I don't, so he has
Hmm.
that advantage. But um, yeah, those are pretty much the only people that I really look to for direct inspiration, as far as I know.
Do you like contact anybody for advice, or do you just like go hard by yourself, just do the whole thing?
Um, I've asked Lazy Purple for work, like, what's the word? Like workflow advice, because he seems,
Hmm.
despite his name, Lazy Purple, he seems like he's got a good like work ethic. So I remember asking him a lot of questions about that early on. Um, but not as far as like editing goes. No, I guess I do kind of just stick to myself when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think a problem I've had in the past with content creation is just like even before starting, I'm just asking for feedback. It's like, do you want this? Do you want that? And it's just like
Uh,
delays inevitable. You just get it.
mhm.
Oh, you get either no feedback or like too much, and it's just like whatever, and you just don't do it.
Yeah, yeah. You say that you would say that you would rely on like feedback from your friends and stuff
Hmm.
when it comes to like videos and stuff. So yeah, I don't want like I trust a lot of people that I would show like early versions of videos to and there have been a few scripts that I've shown people ahead of time. I think I did that with the random crits video because I was so paranoid about like if it was going to be good or not. Uh and people go through and they edit it and it's like some stuff is like you don't really get what I'm trying to do here. Like, it's really hard to put it into words. Like, I write my scripts for myself, so it's hard to like put that into paper. And then when people read it, they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about here. This is stupid." And I'm like, "No, but when you see it, it'll make sense."
Hmm.
And so like it gets lost in it. And then whenever you show people early versions of things, they say, "Well, like this doesn't make sense." Well, it's like, well, this makes sense in the context of what I'm trying to do. So it's just hard to, in my experience at least, it's been hard to get feedback from people when the video is not done yet. So I mean, the closest that I've come to that kind of process is just showing them like what I'm going to upload the next day, basically, and say like, "You catch anything in here that just is like just screams like this is wrong to you?"
Hmm.
So, just because like I've been looking at this for the last 2 weeks and I don't maybe it's gone past my filter, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't. Uh, I don't have uh that drive to get a whole lot of feedback before it's out.
I
I
think
prefer
it's
to take my risk, I guess.
I think it's good to go that way because even if you do screw up, you can learn from your mistakes. If you're
Yeah,
so paranoid about your mistakes, like it's very easy to just not do something. I don't know if you've struggled with that before. Like even if you just start a project, just quit because you're just overwhelmed by, is this good? Is it bad? I don't think it's good, so I'm just gonna quit. Has that happened at all with you? Because it's happened
sure,
a
yeah.
lot with me.
Oh, I don't know if it's happened a lot with me, but it's definitely happened a few times. And in my eyes, is like if a project just isn't working out, if you're getting like second like guessing, if you're like second guessing so much to where it's like delaying it, then maybe it just isn't meant to be, and like
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can salvage it as a completely different thing. But uh, yeah, I've done that with a few videos, but eventually that video makes its way out there, but it's probably going to be completely different. Like I did that with the first episode of the series where I do a map review basically as engineer, the engineer's blueprints. The first episode was just completely, it was formatted completely differently. Like it was basically just a Highlander style like map review where I just walk around and I look at stuff and I'm like, here's where this goes. And like it's like it was really loose and then when I went back and edited it, I realized like, oh, I forgot to mention this, and like I'm gonna have to do so many subtitles on screen for what I forgot, and like I can't really see myself doing this every time. So I had to just I think I literally was about to upload it and I was just like, I've been having like second thoughts about this video all day. Like, I'll just redo it. Like, I know that it's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
pain in the ass and probably going to make myself behind schedule, but it'll be worth it. And it was, I think. I think like making those kinds of decisions, like in the moment, it feels bad, but later on, you're going to look back and be like, ah, yeah, I'm really
Mm-hmm.
glad I did that.
So was there like like a fulcrum, like a point to where your YouTube content like grew tremendously? Because I'm assuming you just didn't blow up overnight.
No, no, it's been a really slow burn, but that's fine. I'm I don't think that there was ever a point where I was like, "Wow, I've been gaining subs extra fast." Like it's always been like the same amount for a while. It's just I've been doing this for a long time, so eventually it's reached this point.
So have you thought of making your like meme content kind of bleed into your TF2 content or putting that on a separate channel? Because I think a lot of the stuff that you've posted on Twitter, I don't know how well it would do on YouTube, but it's still really funny and like I feel like it should be archived better, if that makes sense. Because I was talking
Yeah.
about this with Sideshow and Bren, and they don't really upload a lot of the stuff on YouTube that
Mhm.
they put on Twitter, and I wonder why. Like, is there a good reason for that?
I mean, I think you said it yourself. I think that it wouldn't do as good on YouTube. YouTube is like television now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like people watch it for 10, 20-minute long videos that they can eat their food to. You know what I mean? Twitter is like you're looking at it on the toilet or on the train or something, and you just see a
Yeah,
funny little 10-second clip. So that I feel like it just kind of serves that platform better. YouTube is long past the days of like 10-second funny clip that you click on. Like the site has like evolved to this point
it's
where
like
it is
TV
very
two.
similar to television. Yeah. I'd say that it's TV2 is a good way of saying it. It's like the sequel because nobody really watches television anymore, it seems. They're just on YouTube. So if I posted some 10-second funny clip, it's not gonna do very well. People aren't gonna respond as well to it, I feel like, just because of the nature of the platform.
But what if it was like used as a base for a new channel? For example, like if you put all these like funny weird stuff on a new your second YouTube channel
Hmm.
and then posted your skits after that, like a few months of just silly YouTube content, short clips. I'm assuming you'd slowly gain a base off of that, right? And then you
Sure,
post
yeah.
your bigger stuff, and then you keep posting bigger stuff. I don't know because I don't see really a downside to posting little stuff as long as you're not putting it
Mhm.
on your like main account. Like if your main account is super focused like yours is,
Yeah.
I think that would be a terrible idea. But maybe a second one, right?
I have a second channel that I made just for that purpose where I would just post random stuff, and there are a bunch of like really short clips on it that I would post on Twitter. Um, but I don't know, for some reason I stopped doing that, and I think I don't want to confirm this because I'm not really sure if that's how it works or not. But in my mind, posting that channel's become harder and harder simply because it's gained so much more subscribers over the years. Like that channel has like 70,000 subscribers now, and it's like I don't want it to be that big. Like I just want it to be where I post stuff and a few people will appreciate it. But now it's like, oh, this is Dane's second channel. Like
Mm-hmm.
go here for extra Dane content. But it's like this is no, you guys don't want like this isn't like the other stuff. Please, like just don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Like so, I feel this. I I liked that channel in the beginning because it's like I didn't feel this pressure at all. I was just like, just throw it on there. It's archived basically. Like I don't have to worry about what people are saying. But now there's so many people subscribed to that channel that like it's almost like uploading to my main channel, but now it's a meme. You
I can understand that. Like, and I imagine Twitter is just acts as an alternate channel as well,
know? Mhm.
in a different sense. Like obviously, and maybe even more of a powerful resource for stuff that you want to do in the future because Twitter is everything you make. You post your
Yeah.
YouTubes there, or at least announcements when you post YouTube videos, and obviously you post everything else. So it might honestly be just the best. Like I'm just trying to get like a good idea of like what is the best avenue, and it seems like you guys are all right. Like it's Twitter, even though uh, face value it doesn't seem that way. It certainly does seem to be much better when you dig into it a little bit.
Yeah. Um I I was considering making a second channel just for non TF2 random stuff. But I'm stuck on the name. That's the only reason I haven't made it yet because I don't know what to call it.
So your second channel is like I forgot what it was. It's like something to Dane.
Oh, it's Too Uncle Too Dane, like Too
Yes.
Fast Too Furious.
So you can't, so you're not making a third channel because you can't figure out a name.
Yeah.
Isn't your avatar for that channel like a Spooderman meme? But it's like your
Yeah.
it's like your
Somebody made that.
TF2 loadout.
Yeah, somebody made that. I was like, that's perfect for that. It's like a crappier version.
Uh, it's good. I think my favorite video on that channel is it's just literally like a 3-minute clip of you in a pub and some kid is playing Fall Out Boy through his microphone. It's like, can you hear this?
I love that video so much.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that is amazing. That's amazing. It's very wholesome. There's a lot of
It's
wholesome children on the internet, and
yeah, that's a wholesome moment.
Mhm.
The opposite of a bruh moment.
Yeah, that's a very. You know what? Speaking of bruh moments and memes, how hard is it to stay on top of the meme game? Are you trying to like?
So hard.
So as far as like the meme content goes, are you trying to like create the next new meme, or are you trying to like infuse the latest meme with the dankest content?
I don't know. I don't really think about it like that. There's so many memes that come out or like that people are into that I just straight up don't get, and I
Mhm.
just don't participate in because I'm like, I don't think that's very funny. But occasionally there's something that people say or do that's really funny. Or what happens a lot more to me lately is somebody like a phrase or something or like a meme will be really popular, and at first my first impression is that sucks, that's not funny, like I don't get it. And then like 3 or 4 months will go by, and then I'm like, now I get it, now I think this is funny. And I think it's mostly just because people don't think it's funny anymore, and now that makes it funny to me. I don't know if that
You
makes sense.
resurrect it. You
Yeah,
pull
exactly.
it out of the back of their mind.
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
A good example would be like, what was that stupid thing? It was funny for exactly 20 minutes, and then everybody thought it was dumb. It was the Knuckles thing, or what was that?
Oh, Ugandan knuckles.
Ugandan Knuckles. And people were saying, "Oh yeah, the phrase was, do you know the way?"
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. I didn't think it was funny. I eventually found out that it was like a forcing thing, and then like it was annoying, and everybody thought it was stupid. And then now it's so old and has this history of everybody hating it, to where if somebody said, "Do you know to wait me now?" I think I would laugh. So it's weird how that seems to happen to me with memes a lot lately.
It's just
Like
resurrecting the old ones.
especially with, I can't stop saying bruh now. Like bruh, that bruh sound effect.
Yeah.
Because that was like 4 or 5 months ago that was a thing, and now I feel like nobody cares anymore, but it's still funny.
It's like the CJ. I think the CJ meme from San Andreas is pretty hot right now.
Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
bring that back? That's actually pretty funny. You just make you upload a YouTube video after like 3 months, and it just starts with, "Oh shit, here we go again."
You're like, wait, what? A little
Wait,
late.
what? That's
Yeah.
pretty old, Dane.
Guys, I made that when it was fresh, and I just now uploaded it, so just keep that in mind.
All right. So you know a couple pretty popular YouTubers. I think you've been friends with iDubbbz like way before YouTube. Like both of you guys really
Well,
did YouTube, right? Or
I
how did you
met
guys
him.
meet?
I met him back in 2014, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just starting to make YouTube videos. I think I was like probably below 100,000 subscribers or around there. And he was also starting to make YouTube videos, or at least the kind of YouTube videos that he makes now. I think he was making Kickstarter crap videos, and that's how we found him. Was we were watching his videos and thought they were funny, and he was like at 100,000 subscribers around there too, I think. And my friend Mac, she messaged him on Twitter or something, or I think she messaged him on Twitter like a bunch, and he would respond to him or something. This is back when he would respond to a lot more people. And I think at some point she was just like, "Hey, do you want to like join our call or something?" Because I think we were still using Skype. And he joined. So
That's
and
cool
then we just
because
started hanging out.
the reason
It's
I
kinda
brought
weird.
that up was because you guys just uploaded I don't know what the hell it was on Twitter. It was funny and like
Oh,
it blew up. It was so I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember what it was. I think it's like he's just like looking at his food. It's like, we got Chinese food or something.
yeah.
Oh, that's.
It was.
And then I
it
saw
was,
it had like how many interactions did it have? It was like
I don't
40
know. I'm scared
something
to look at it.
thousand.
anything he posts on Twitter gets a lot of attention. So
I'm like,
no, I was
PewDiePie responded to the video. I'm like, geez,
yeah.
did pretty well. Yeah, don't tell Poods we were having Indian food.
Yeah, I was at his house and we were having Indian food, and we do this impression of our friend who likes PewDiePie a lot. And he doesn't really like, I mean, he likes PewDiePie probably about as much as an average person, but for some reason we latched onto that characteristic about him. And now in our minds, the new character of him is that he's obsessed with PewDiePie, and he's Australian. So we do impressions of him all the time. Just when we're bored, we're just like, "Oh, I love PewDiePie. PewDiePie's so fun." Did you? And like we say, like just random PewDiePie memes, like, the Wall Street Journal's really giving PewDiePie a lot of flack. They're taking his stuff out of context, and like we'll do that, like just for like a half an hour, just only doing that voice, and it gets really to the point where it's not really funny anymore, but we'll keep doing it. And I don't know. I guess we were eating Indian food, and I started saying, don't tell PewDiePie we're having Indian food because he hates T-Series.
Yeah, I'll play the audio for the VOD right now.
Oh, don't tell PewDiePie that we're having Indian food because T-Series and PewDiePie are in kind of like a feud right now.
I don't know why it's so funny. It's just like I don't have the technology right now to show this on stream, but it just the way you're like sitting at your desk is like you're in the middle of a conversation, and it's just something you're very concerned about.
Yeah.
You're very concerned about you, but it seems like you just don't know. You don't know like really what T-Series is.
I don't. I really don't. I don't think I've ever gone to the
really
channel or seen a video. No,
yeah, basically what T-Series is it's like, I think it's Bollywood or something like that, and they just upload like movies and stuff on their YouTube constantly.
I think I heard that they were a company, but I just didn't know what they did.
I don't know if it's Bollywood. It's just they post like legitimate, like I think TV shows, like music. I don't know. It's the most popular YouTube channel. Neither of us know who it is or what they do. Okay. I kind of do, but not really.
We're Americans. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so apparently PewDiePie lost that battle, unfortunately. I think he posted like a video saying that he wants people to stop the meme or something because of the horrible shit that happened recently.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It was like a thing for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that video. I don't know what I mean, like I know what happened with New Zealand, but I didn't know like it seemed kind of like it came a little later. So I don't know if he just got fed up with it or whatever. But
yeah, I think it obviously has to do with that, but it might have to do with just people latching onto you and putting your name all over the internet, and to the point where it has like a negative connotation, like beyond anything. It's just like, dude, just shut up. Like I've heard this like 50 times. Like it was funny the first time 6 months ago, but it's like a meme. Like you gotta let it die and then resurrect it. Like subscribe to PewDiePie in 5 years.
Yeah,
probably gonna be pretty funny.
That's true.
But right, it's been a little too long. And for you, have you experienced like any like hyper mega super fans that are just like, come on, man, I'm glad you like my content. Just like relax. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you get into like a public lobby or something, like there are definitely people who can be obnoxious, but I mean, luckily that doesn't really happen that much. Most people are pretty cool with it. So
do you think that has to do with being separated from your audience compared to being like a super mega popular Twitch streamer? I feel like people that are really into the top streamers like get way too involved. Like I don't know if you heard of this, but Disguised Toast had like, have you heard of him? He's a popular streamer. He plays Hearthstone and a bunch of other stuff. Like he had like a huge group of people, including like his mods, that were like obsessed with his relationship and his life. Like dozens of chat logs were like fed to him by someone that like was like, what the fuck? Like, why is this happening? And I don't know. I think it's kind of dangerous when you have such a when you are interacting directly with your audience like every day, compared to like YouTube, where you're creating content for people to watch. It's like, this is mine, now it's everybody's, rather than we're all
Yeah.
here together all the time.
Yeah, with Twitch, I think it's people have they they have this weird thing where they are obsessed with like their day-to-day lives because they feel like they're more of a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that with YouTube, it's more that people think that they know you as a person, or that they are so familiar with your online presence, or they're so familiar with your videos that they feel like they've developed this relationship with you that goes in one direction. I think it's called a parasocial relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a name for it now, but it's a dangerous thing, and it happens to a lot of people I've noticed. And I keep my DMs open on Discord, uh, just to have it kind of be a reminder of the kind of people that are out there. And there are a lot of people out there who seem to think that they can just say anything to me, and they could
Mm-hmm.
just they and I think it just has a lot to do with the idea that I've watched this guy's video for so long. I think I know him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know this guy, and I'm not immune to it either. Like, there are a lot of people that I watch on YouTube that I feel I've watched them for years. Like, I have people that I watch on YouTube longer than I've had certain friends, and I feel like I know that person, but I have to remember that I don't actually know them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, and I feel like with kids especially, like, they don't have that ability to step back and be like, I I might feel like I know this person, but I don't. And so
Mm-hmm.
whenever you get into the position where you're interacting with them, it's strange to that person when
Mm-hmm.
you're acting like you've known them forever, but you just met them, and it's this weird like kind of battle of them treating it like you guys are friends, but you're not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I do get into that situation a lot more than the obsessive people that you might meet. Like, if I was like more of a Twitch streamer, I think people would, I don't know, you'd probably get more people who are obsessed with like my day-to-day life if I was more of a streamer, but I'm not, luckily.
So yeah, so why is that? What keeps you from streaming? Like, do you not like it, or do you just not have enough time, or?
Um, I if I'm being real with myself, I think that I just don't like it. I mean, like, I like popping in from time to time and connecting with people. Like, the main reason why I would stream is to basically just read chat and answer questions. Most of the time I treat streams like a Q&A session,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the times it doesn't end up that way. It mostly just ends up as uh just a video game session. And especially after like the first 2 or 3 hours, it seems like the questions start to die down, and people are just kind of commenting on what I'm doing. So after that point, I feel like I don't really feel like streaming anymore because I'm not really interacting with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I don't feel like when I play the games that I play, I don't feel like I'm being entertaining, uh, and that really like hangs over my head, I think, and it can get exhausting, at least mentally for me. I don't know why I overthink it so much. It's probably just because I don't do it very much. I'm not super used to it. So
Yeah, streaming's wildly different. Like, I feel like you're entertaining, but you just might not realize it. And you obviously, I hope you think you're entertaining when it comes to YouTube.
yeah,
But you're very
because I
entertaining
can
with,
curate it and I can
yeah.
make
It's
it that
just
way.
it's just a different field. It's very odd. Um,
Yeah.
and speaking of back on YouTube and your main channel, has it gotten more difficult creating content with Valve barely releasing like any updates within the past few years? Like, is it more of a challenge, or are you just kind of doing whatever regardless of updates?
I'd say it's more of a challenge in the like when it comes to like putting a fire under my ass on when to like get a video out, because the benefit of having like back when we were getting like 2 or 3 major updates a year, it was like, okay, that's 2 or 3 guaranteed videos where I will be able to just jump in and be like, okay, here's my 2 cents, here's what's going on. And that was fun, and I really liked that. But now that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't have that opportunity anymore. So it's almost like I have to rely 100% on myself now instead of relying on Valve, which is whatever. Like, it's not really that big a deal, but it would help. I think it would make the TF2 content sphere more interesting because there
Mm-hmm.
would be this like dichotomy between people, their opinions on things. Because now it's just like, well, the only thing you can make content about is the stuff that exists already, and that's been
Mm-hmm.
done to death. So you have to bring a new spin to things.
Do you think the days of hoping for new stuff with TF2 is over? Because I find it kind of, it took me up until like the beginning of this year to get to that point. Like I love
Mhm.
TF2. I played it almost exclusively for about 6 years straight, and even after they kind of just stopped doing updates, I'm just still in the back of my mind thinking about what are they doing next. And I don't know if that's still for you. Like, are they still? Are you still thinking about it, or are you just like whatever? If stuff comes, it comes. Like, I'm not theory crafting anymore. Or are you still in the hopeful mindset of I hope they make something?
I have one last theory craft, and that's just that they made Jungle Inferno after what, a year and a half of working on it, and it was pretty successful. It was one of the more successful major updates that they've worked on in recent times, and they saw how successful it was, and they said, okay, from now on, major updates, we have to work on them for a very long time, and basically like instead of making little updates every once in a while throughout the year. Now we have to make big updates that take a long time to make. And even when I was at Valve the last time, Eric said that what people expect from updates has changed. He said that people aren't satisfied with like a couple hats, a couple weapons, and a map. They want everything. They want rebalancing of a bunch of classes. They want like 5 maps, they want like 10 weapons. Like, I don't like, this is all verbatim, not verbatim,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, like, basically, I think the TF team has this idea that they have to make these big lump sum updates now. Um, and so that's probably what they've been working on. And I think that the reason why we're not getting any communication is because they looked at what they did wrong with Jungle Inferno, and what they did wrong, I think, in their eyes, is that they communicated too much.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only thing about Jungle Inferno that actually bit them in the ass, is that they promised a bunch of stuff that wasn't included in the update, and so they said, okay, let's just not promise anything. In fact, let's just not say anything at all. you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's probably their mindset. That is a theory craft, of course, but that's the only one that I'm hanging on to at this point. It's been an obnoxious amount of time since the last major update, so it's very possible that they're just not working on anything now.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely
Like
possible.
they did promise the heavy would be updated as well.
They said
Um,
that he might be in a couple occasions, and they could also just break promises. So
I mean, yeah, that was like,
that's something Valve
I,
actually prides themselves on, is their ability to change their mind. Like, I watched this keynote from Robin Walker from like 2014, where he was basically talking about like Valve's mindset when it comes to communication. And I actually have been wanting to make a video on that on its own, just because it's such an interesting like insight into the way that Valve works. Is that they believe that the ability to change their mind about stuff, like even before like it goes out, or even like at any point during the developing process, they want to be able to change their mind, and that's more important to them than communication, which I think is wrong, but that's the way that they
mm-hmm.
that's the way that they look at it. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy because nowadays it's every major multiplayer game is just hyper connected with their community, or at
Hmm.
least updating like crazy. Like Fortnite gets updated every what 3 months at least.
Hmm.
Like it used to be like every week they'd make a crazy change, and I think Valve has kind of been Valve with TF2 has kind of been relatively consistent. Obviously, they slowed down really like a lot, like within
Hmm.
the past couple of years. But beyond that, it's been pretty consistent. But throughout that time period, these games have popped up where it's like update, 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 and even games that are Valve driven, like Dota 2, got a
Yeah.
ton of updates. CS:GO, ton of updates. You're just sitting here. I'm a TF2 player. I don't want any more hats. I think the dog is cute, but I want to play something new.
Yeah.
Um, so in regards to that video that you mentioned, is that like a different avenue you might want to take with your main channel um, if you decide that creating TF2 content specifically for the engineer is just too difficult because you've done it all, like you've done everything that you wanted to do? Is there
If
like
I
a
yeah,
future Uncle Dane that you have in mind at all?
if I ever get to the point where I I feel like I can't make any more content about TF2 or engineer anything like that, which I think is going to be long in the future because I feel like I'm not even close to getting
Mm-hmm.
finished with TF2 content. There's so many ideas that I've been wanting to do for a very long time that I still can run through. Um, but if I were to look into the future, I think I would probably make more commentary videos. Like, despite me saying earlier that I never really felt comfortable early on making commentary. I feel like I could probably pull it off
Oh,
if I
I think
dedicated myself to it.
I've I wish I could give examples, but there are many. There has to be a lot of. This is a poorly worded phrase with no backing, but there are a lot of YouTube channels that have branched off from like their core and gotten really successful.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I can't think of specific examples off the top of my head right now, but I remember specific moments of channels that I've followed that were kind of smaller. I wouldn't say smaller, but like 100,000 that are now like really popular, just changing it up completely.
Yeah.
So I think with the TF2 content, especially like the video essay content, I think you've developed a skill set that can go somewhere else, like pretty much any direction that you want, as long as you like utilize those skills that you've developed. And I would love to see. I love your TF2 content, but it would be like, whoa, this is cool. Like for example, Star, we know Star. Um, he was doing TF2 content, and then he made the Basically series, which unfortunately he hasn't done much of. He made one recently, but kind of gave up on it with Twitch. But I feel like that type of content is really like good. And
Yeah.
I feel like the reason it wasn't good as far as like numbers on Twitch, this is not, it was, yeah, numbers on Twitch or on YouTube, was because I think he was making that content before YouTube wanted that content, before
Yeah.
like the algorithms rewarded that content. And
Yes.
I would love to have him on the podcast and like talk about that, because I feel like that is his best stuff. And I think for you could do something similar, not necessarily like exactly what he does, but branch off and be very successful, because like you said, YouTube does reward these lengthy high production videos.
Yes. And I think that you're right in that skill set can translate over to other stuff. And I I have been wanting to do other types of content for a bit now. It's just hard to make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet that when one riverbed dries up, inevitably there will always be another door that I can open. I think that I can make that happen. I've never really been worried about that, and I never really have felt like it's on my doorstep either. I feel like I could probably do this for another, I don't know. I'm not gonna say a number. I don't want to jinx myself, but I could do it for a pretty decent amount of time. Even if TF2 like stops receiving updates tomorrow. Like, I mean, if it's guaranteed, if the TF team somehow
Mm-hmm.
makes an announcement saying we're not going to work on TF2 anymore, uh, I think I could probably still make TF2 content for a
Yeah.
pretty dang long time, until eventually I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, I've done everything now. So
Yeah. The only reason I say that is just because I would love to see that from you. It's more of like,
yeah,
please
yeah,
do
yeah.
this, Dane.
I
It's me
understand.
being like, it's me like adding you on Steam on like an alt account. Hey, can you do this?
Yeah.
I want to see you do this.
I appreciate it, and I'd want to do it too. And there are a couple ideas for videos that I have. It just comes down to getting into the mindset to making them, and also coming up with a name for that channel, because that's where I would
Yeah,
probably
that's the
post it.
most important thing.
I was thinking maybe of calling it Tio, because that's Spanish for uncle, and I like that name, Tio. but it's too short. I think.
So it'd just be Tio or
I don't know. That's
Tio.
the
Dane.
closest that I've gotten to a name, but I know I'm not going to do that because it's too short and also has nothing.
Just put the Enye. It's like Tio Danye.
It'd be so weird. I'm not in Spain. I'm not.
That's just
Spanish.
kind of, yeah, there's no way that would make any sense. But, you're just whatever it's called to Uncle to Dane.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Well, is there anything you want to touch on before we finish up here?
Anything that I want to touch on?
Or shout out?
Yeah. Shout out to. I don't know. I don't have any shout
No one. I should stop asking people that. I always want to. This is what happened last week. Back in the TF2 days, where there was like podcasts, there would always be. It's like, who do you want to shout out? And people would just rifle off like their entire Steam friends list. So like that has been implanted in my brain. It's like, okay, I gotta give people shout outs. Like this is why they're here. They just want to shout their friends out. Obviously, that's not the case anymore.
No, I think that's an old.
Yeah,
that's a boomer thing.
Yeah, that's a good meme. I'm loving the boomer meme.
It's the boomer thing. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
started using it as like just a way to say old now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a boomer take, bro.
Quake 3 was a great game. Quake 1
Boomer.
was better though. All right, guys. Thank you, Dane. Thanks for stopping in,
Yeah,
spending your
thanks for
time with
having
me. It was really interesting talking about your YouTubes and your adventures running around naked in the woods. We'll see you guys next time.